Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Art is Within Her. My name is Alyssa, and I am going to ask you to please bear with me through the awkwardness. This is my first video, so please be nice. Thank you. I've been sharing my art so far on Instagram and TikTok mainly, and I've really liked it. I like sharing the short content. But I've been wanting to do longer videos to be able to talk through my creative process and to really dive deep into what I'm doing. I love that type of content. I love being able to watch an artist and draw inspiration from them. So that's my goal, just to share my art, hopefully to inspire a few people and just to have fun. As you will see in this video, I am indeed a craftaholic. I like to dabble in different art forms. I have some acrylic painting. I've been teaching myself how to sew. I really want to try and do some oil pastels that my dad had gifted me. My issue is right now I have too many open projects. I need to clear up some space. Yeah, so let's get into it. My first project is the birdie bag. This is a slouchy tote bag kind of pattern that I found on Etsy. I plan on using this for my everyday bag. I already had the outer lining cut out. I just need to cut out all the lining fabric. So as you can see here, I am cutting out the large pocket. Here is the small pocket for the inside. And then I'm just going to take these over to my sewing machine. Here is the pattern that I'm using. Here I've just rolled over the edges of the fabric twice, and I'm going over that. And then I'm finding the center of my fabric and lining up the pocket, just making sure it is in a good place so I have both pockets secured. Now I am just going and sewing those onto the lining fabric pieces. And then putting those together with the pockets facing each other, I'm just sewing all around the edges except for the little notches in the corner. Those I'm going to open up and press back together and then top stitch it to create more of a boxy, baggy kind of shape. Here is the lining fabric all done. You can see the pockets on the inside, a little hole that I need to use later. This is the carrying handle for the top, and this is my outer fabric. And then the red strips of fabric are going to be used to create the bows on the outside. I'm just sewing around 3 edges and then turning the fabric. Now I am assembling the lining and outer fabric together. I did mess up on the handle placement when I turned the bag inside out. It was in the inside, so I had to seam rip it and sew it back together again. And now I'm just top stitching around the bag just to create a more seamless look. I did end up having to hand sew the bows because there's just so much fabric that my sewing machine was not happy. But here it is all put together. You can see the 2 pockets in there, and it turned out amazingly. I loved this project. It was so easy to follow, and I already have a bunch of friends and family who want me to make them a bag. Next up is my gallery wall painting. This one started as a sketch back in 2024, and I finally got to bring it to life. I'm kind of starting from the middle here because I took so many breaks, but to finish, I need to finish painting myself. That is me creating art within this art piece. And then I need to paint the canvas, which is blank right now. I added some darker paint to my eyes and my nose area just to kind of give a shadow. Now I'm just going through and painting my hair. I did have this really cool idea to do some eyes with gems coming out as tears, but I think I want to do that as a bigger piece later. And now I'm going through and painting a bunch of plants everywhere, which I have throughout my house. I love plants. I don't think I knew what my plan was for the canvas yet, and so I think that's why I'm finishing everything else but my canvas. But I really like what I ended up with. Here I had this really cool idea to add a little mirror, and I found these little circles at I think Michael's. So I'm just using some E60 glue to glue that on. And then here is the sketch and the final product. I ended up writing a simple quote: "I am a museum of everything I've ever loved." I wanted to highlight some pieces that were inspired by art that I've created and have in my house, like this evil eye circle that I have in my bedroom. And this is my favorite squishmallow that I've ever found. And this is a clock that I thrifted and flipped and made the moth out of clay. And then my favorite was including my dog, Bruce Lee. I also have the birth flowers of my daughter and my boyfriend, as seen here. I have my astrological sign, which is Capricorn, painted as the star formation in the sky. I really loved being able to sprinkle in these personal touches throughout the gallery wall. It really is just a representation of everything that I love and everything that makes me me. It fits perfectly with the quote that I found, that I truly am a museum of everything I've ever loved. Next is designing my brand logo, along with creating a branding sheet and creating this YouTube video. The idea to create the YouTube video came first, but before I created my channel and started sharing art, I wanted to establish a brand because I really feel like this is going to take me somewhere, and I want to just get it right and put in all the work to build the foundation before I take off, I guess. I went ahead and started by just sketching out some ideas on paper that I felt captured what I want. And I ended up going with this last one. I really like how it shows that almost like the art is radiating out of me. I really like that idea because we all have this creative ability within us. It's just a matter of letting it through. So now that I've chosen this one, I'm using my Wacom tablet that I found on Facebook Marketplace a few years ago. And it allows me to use this pen and pad and draw within Adobe Illustrator. So here I've done my A and my R, and I'm working on my T. I'm trying to recreate the curve that I made within the A because I love it, and I feel like it would look really balanced. So this is what I ended up with. For my birthday this past year, I ended up buying myself an iPad, and within Procreate, I sketched out this woman. Then I went over my name and added in the is within her in a new font. My dad pointed out that the T kind of looks more like a P, so I went ahead and changed it, as you can see at the top. This is my branding sheet. This is just a way for me to hone in on the visuals of what I want to put out. The mood board is just images that I pulled from Pinterest. I am on Pinterest all the time. It just kind of portrays what I want to put out and what I feel like I already am. And then I just chose some fonts that I feel would complement the brand. Now I'm going to be working on these Valentine hoodies that were meant to be gifts for my daughter, my boyfriend, and myself. I started off this project by cutting out basic shapes with fabric that I already had. I did a star for my boyfriend, a moon for myself, and the sun for my daughter. And I just cut these out and then used fabric glue to secure them for now so that I could paint on them. I did do most of my boyfriends before Valentine's, but I do need to add another layer of paint because this fabric paint that I'm showing is just pretty thin. So I just quickly went over everything, made it a little bit thicker and more opaque. And then next is my daughter's sun hoodie, and I'm just going in with that white fabric paint for the white of the eyes. Then I'm using acrylic paint mixed with a bit of this downy fabric softener and just going through and painting some eyes and lips. For the blush, I wanted to do a spiral. I thought that would be really cute. I'm just going and putting another color of orange on the outside of the sun. I didn't really like how muted this orange was, so just adding a little bit of paint on the outside. Next, I'm just going in with black and outlining everything and adding the eyelashes and the eyeliner, finishing the eyes. I also added in some eyebrows. Next, I'm just adding some little hearts meant to be kind of like freckles. I thought it was really cute. And then I'm just going through the outside and adding some yellow just to bring it all together. Next, for my hoodie, I did add some more fabric using fabric glue just to give shape for the nose and the mouth, or the lips. And now I'm just going through with some of the colors that I've been using to do the eyes and the lips, just to kind of space everything out. Now I'm going in with just this acrylic paint. I didn't add fabric softener because it was starting to make it kind of chunky. It just wouldn't work for all the details that I'm putting in. So I'm doing the eyes and the eyebrow, and I decided to outline everything in this deep blue color versus black, just because the blue matched the star of my boyfriend's hoodie and I thought it was cute to kind of add the same colors throughout everybody's. I did end up changing the color of the lips though and the blush, but I did do a spiral blush just like my daughter's. And then I'm actually taking the yellow fabric that I used in the sun and adding in a star right here just because I felt like it needed a little something. And then these are them all together. I love how they came out and I can't wait for all of us to wear them. Last but certainly not least is a disc golf bag that was also meant to be a present. My plan was to give this to my boyfriend for Christmas, but I really had to just step away because it was a lot more challenging than I thought. First, I'm just adding some, I forgot what it's called, but it's just going to make the fabric stronger. I'm using the pattern to cut out a circle, which will be used for the back of the bag. Here is the back and the front of the bag. I did complete most of the front already. Here are some shoulder straps. I have a little tab with a D-ring on the inside, so that will be used for the detachable long strap. So here I'm just going around the outer edges of the shoulder strap. So once I'm done, I'm gonna flip it out and you'll see the D-ring and the tab. And then I pressed it, and here is the other one. So these are both done. I noticed that there was a hole on the side, so I just was top stitching over that really quick. And next is the small carrying strap that is attached to the bag. So I'm just sewing one side, and then I turned it inside out and pressed it. Now I am assembling the back side of the bag. I'm adding those shoulder straps and also the small carrying strap, just really getting everything into place along with the lining fabric. This is the gusset that I'm assembling right here, and I'm basically sandwiching the zipper between two pieces of fabric, attaching the outer fabric and the lining fabric, and then doing the same thing on the other side. And this is gonna be like the top of the bag, and I am attaching another piece of outer fabric and lining to create the whole circumference of the bag, and then I just need to go through and attach it to the front of the bag. Sewing around all of it. Here it is sewed to the front. It was pretty hard. And then I had to do it all over again with the back with even more things to be mindful of, such as the strap. But it came together and I turned it inside out, and here it is. Here it is the next day because my phone had died. And this is the long carrying strap that I hand sewed. Here it is all done, the front pocket and the top pocket, and this pattern says that it could hold up to 6 discs, so it's just a smaller option because he does have a bigger disc golf cart if you wanted to just carry a few discs while he plays. I would love to do this project again now that I understand what's going on, how the pattern works. I would love to choose sturdier fabric. This one was just, it was really hard to follow the pattern, so I feel like it wasn't my best work, and I could definitely do that. Hello, thank you for sticking around as I finished my projects. I am really thankful for this opportunity to create this video and share my art, and I feel like it was a really good motivator to finish these projects that I probably would have left sitting around, unfortunately. I'm super excited to continue to share my art with you. Once again, you can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at artiswithinher, and stick around because I will be releasing another video soon. Bye!